Alright guys, I know last week Jason went and he actually did a video on initiatives and how he does it with pen and paper, which I'll a lot of the time do it with pen and paper myself. But a way that I like to use Obsidian as well, I find that it's actually really convenient and not at all difficult, especially as a new person. So let me show you a cool way of doing initiative that you might want to try in your game. So stick with me here. Okay, so we're just exactly where we left off before. I just showed you how to roughly use Obsidian as a DM. Now let's go and actually use it to track and handle our initiatives in combat in a meaningful way. So we're going to start by we'll make a folder right here. I could use an already existing folder, but this is fine. So we're going to call that our initiative. With initiative made, so inside of there, we're going to add a canvas. How I like to do this is I like to go and add a bunch of cards. We'll number it, let's say, 25 through 0. Then when I go to make this, I'm actually going to add a little hashtag in there just to make the numbers kind of pop out a little bit. And honestly, I still think we can do even better. Here, let me show you. What I like to do is I like to go and click this little cogwheel right here. From there, I navigate into appearance. Inside of here, there's themes. So I'll manage that. And there's a lot of different themes for this. My preference, I like blue topaz, but you can figure out whichever one you like and use that one. So let's install and use, and you'll immediately see that it changes the appearance a little bit different. So I'm going to go and I'm going to make a bunch of interconnected things here, and we'll call that 24, and so on and so forth. And I'm going to make all the way out through 0. So give me just one moment while I build this out. Okay, we have our 2 columns made now with our initiatives going from 25 through 0. Mind you, there could be outliers outside of those ranges. A lot of times you're not going to have multiple things roll over a 25. If you get it to happen, you can just easily correct for that. But let's start with this. So let's make things easily viewable at once. So I'll like to scroll things out just a hair like this. And now I can see all of my things at once easily, right? So we've got, you'll notice a very large opening on this far right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and I'm just going to select one of these. I'm going to hit Control C, right? Mostly just because I want to keep something of generally the same height and size. But let's add in our enemies. Let's say we're using goblins, right? Shrink that down there, and we'll call that Goblin 1. And then we can go and select Goblin 1, and we can paste Goblin 1, and so on and so forth. And we can add in additional goblins here. We'll name you 2 and 3. Super easy. As a DM, you can either roll for their initiatives, or you can just choose where you want them to be. In this case, I'm going to save myself the time of rolling, and I'm going to say that one of them rolled above average, got a 17, another one rolled below average, got an 8, and one of them rolled well below average and got, let's say, a 2, right? Easy. If I want to change this at some point, I absolutely can, and I can just easily move my initiative around however I see fit. Right? Maybe the goblins had advantage, and we take from Jason's idea and we give him a +5. All right, cool. 1, 2, 3, 4, and they would go over to 5 right here. Super easy, right? And then for my players, I could already have their cards pre-made. Let's just go ahead and copy from Goblin over here, and let's add in my players. So we'll name them Jason, Matt, and John. One moment. All right. We get to game day. We're rolling initiatives. My goblin's already decided. Jason tells me I rolled a 22. Beautiful. We just moved Jason over into 22. Matt tells me he rolls an 11. Just carry him over as he says it and carry me over into 4 or whatever it is I rolled, right? Now you'll notice that leaves me with a lot of room on this right side, right? So what I like to do is I'll go and I'll grab stat blocks and put them there as well. Here, let me show you. So for this specific example, let's go ahead and take our encounter with these goblins. Let's go ahead and make it so we can see the desktop and show how easy this is. Let's say we need a stat block for a goblin. We're just going to go to D&D Beyond, Game Rules, Monsters, and let's just grab our goblin stat block. So we're just going to go ahead and grab goblin there, and we'll throw a goblin boss in there as well. Let's say one of them's a goblin boss. We'll go to our goblin. We'll just do Windows key Shift S. That'll allow us to go and drag right here, and we'll grab our goblin. I'm going to try and narrow it in a little bit. Then we're just going to go and select over to here. We're going to paste. In one moment, we're just going to do the same thing over right here. We're going to select our goblin boss. Super easy. Good. And paste. All right. So then from there, let's narrow our way back in a little bit. You can make these as big as you need them to read them and to use. And then we're going to go and make it work for us even better. So let's say, for example, our goblin 1 is our boss. We could name him God Boss now. Let's just readjust him. He's been promoted. So let's say that Jason over here is playing a rogue and he's some kind of poisoner, right? And he's now hit our boss and he's applied an effect to him. All right, cool. Let's just select this and now we can go and we can color coordinate things. So now he's green and that'll remind me that he's poisoned. We could even add it as an additional note underneath there and just say that it has the poison condition. Or whatever it is that we need to remember, we can just quickly add things as little notes to our bosses or our random monsters in the fight and keep track of everything, have access to all of our information. It's wonderful. Alrighty, let me just show you one last additional thing here because maybe building this out every time can be a little bit tedious, right? So let's actually delete some of this stuff, right? Let's say that the important thing that we care about right now is our players and this tracker itself. Wonderful. Let's go ahead and actually rename this. We'll call this the initiative tracker. Okay, we're going to take our initiative tracker. We're actually going to move that inside of our templates there. So I'm not sure of a way of actually using this through the templates feature, but we can kind of replicate it. How we're going to do that is we're just going to go and select it all. And we're going to use Control C. And let's say at some point that we end up with a combat where we need to actually use this. We're just going to add a new canvas. Then from there, we can just have it selected, Control V, and paste our fantastic little initiative tracker, and then just immediately use it again, slot it in however, which also then means, let's say that we have multiple combats planned in a session, we can have multiple canvases already all pre-set up, and each of them have their own little preset initiatives already all set up with their goblins or their wolves or whatever it may be. This is how I do initiative, or at least how I try to when I'm doing it online with friends, or even in person, because I use a laptop for a DM screen. It gives me this versatility of having access to all of my notes and doing initiative in this way. But that's how I do things. It's a little bit different from how Jason does things. I like that I don't have to erase things. I can just, if I need to drag something around, I absolutely can. If I need to make adjustments on the fly, I absolutely can. And I have all of my monsters, stats, and everything easily readily available. So that's what I've got for you today. I hope you enjoyed how I do initiative. You guys have a wonderful rest of your day, and I hope I've taught you something new. This has been John at Tabletop Wisdom. You guys have a wonderful rest of your day. Thank you. Goodbye.